And good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highliner Activity Network on this Thursday morning, our final Thursday in the month. Well, we got one more Thursday in the month of October. Well, Halloween next week. I can't wait to see if we got costumes coming on next week's show. But we've been kind of out of location here the last couple of weeks. Didn't have a show last week with NEA going on. And of course, we did Thunder Football 2 weeks ago. So we're back in our normal locale here at the Highliner Activity Center. And we're going to kick things off, and it's been 3 weeks, but we are going to kick things off, wrapping up the boys tennis season with Coach Matt Nielsen. How you doing?
Doing well today. How are you doing?
Good. You still remember how?
I think I got it in my head. What happened.
Just checking on that. But it has been a while. We haven't had a chance to talk, but let's just go back again with the East Region. You and I actually chatted a little bit on the football game at halftime about how the East Region went, and real close to getting 3 young men into the state tournament.
Yep. So last year we didn't get anybody to the state qualifying match. We only had 2 wins at the region tournament in the individuals, and we had several kids who performed extremely well. So I'm going to start with we had Kellen Westman in singles. He won 2 matches and got himself to the match to get to the state qualifier and played very, very well and had a great tournament. He was extremely happy with his finish. And then Colin Hoff and Noah Tulp, they played doubles. They almost got themselves to play a match against our other Valley City team. They won the first set against South's numbers 2 and 3 player. They got the first set. South came back, won that in a super, so it ended their season. And then our 2 that were in the state qualifier, we had Quinn Kruger. He won 3 singles matches on the Friday of regions to make him to Saturday. But on Saturday, he fell to Cheyenne's number 2 player, which Cheyenne ended up winning the state title. So, I mean, there was no shame in dropping that match, but he made it to that match. He got to play on Saturday morning. He got to feel that, so that is great for our program, that a freshman got to feel that state qualifier. And then the other state qualifier, our only senior, Miles Taylor, was in it with Cole Haugen, and we had ourselves a battle with Fargo North. It went to a super tie break. We actually got up 5-3 in the super tiebreak. I think it was also 5-3 we got up, and then Fargo North kind of turned it on and ended our season. But we put ourselves in a position to state qualify. We got ourselves there. It was a very intense match. And then Miles Taylor had a bunch of his senior classmates come and support him, so I thought that was awesome. So shout out to all those seniors that came to watch Miles in tennis, and they were in for a awesome match. And I think a lot of them didn't realize how intense tennis actually is and how high level it is. So they were pretty impressed, and I'm just so proud of Cole and Miles for what they did. And if you look at it, the two that they lost to at the time, you might have said, well, oh man, we could have had that match. Those 2 went on a run in the state tournament, and they took 5th place and made all state. So they lost to the 5th best team in the state. They lost to in a super tiebreak and had themselves a shot. So I mean, they did very well, and very, very proud of them and the whole team.
Well, I know that we have talked a lot throughout the year as far as individual victories that we had through the season, what we had last year, where we're at this year. Was it 184% turnaround or something like that?
No, we had I think it was over a 200% increase when you tacked in the final regions matches, because we won another 7 matches at regionals, which is crazy to think about. Like I said, we only had 19 total wins last year, and to get 7 of them at just the individual region tournament just shows you how much these kids have improved over the last year, and they're still out improving. I didn't realize this, but a few of them are going to City Park in the evening, and they're turning the lights on, and they're playing down at City Park. So the tennis season got over, and they're doing that, and we do I-Time, which is social emotional learning, and I have a lot of them in class. And yesterday it was one of the questions on there was, in 20 years, they had a bunch of questions, but one of them was what was their hobbies, and most of my tennis players still put tennis, and I started reflecting on it, and I go, there's a lot of other people who are in sports in the class. None of them are putting what sports there are in high school as their hobby from 20 years from now. And I go, you know what, I'm going to take that as a huge win, that they enjoy it and realize it's a lifelong sport, and it's fun to go out there with your friends. So I took that as a big win also. The
improvement you talked about, how has these young guys, I mean, everybody, Miles Taylor is back. And you had a lot of younger guys, 7th graders, that really stepped up and played, in 6th graders too, that I think there's a class in the 5th and 6th grade of kids coming up. How is that improvement just going to reflect on future tennis in Valley City.
Well, not only are they improving, but they're awesome leaders. I can't say enough about all those juniors right now because they include everyone. And we actually had 2 juniors come out for the first time this year with Evan Schroeder and Jackson Eisen. Juniors came out. They love the atmosphere, even though they did practice with the JV instead of the varsity, because in tennis, it doesn't matter what grade you're in, we're going to put you in a spot where you can be successful and where we can reach you where you are. So these 2 juniors practiced with the JV, with just, seventh through whomever.
Right.
But they had a great time, and they were, like our juniors always included everyone throughout the year in the warm-ups, in the games at the end. And right now those 2 are going down and playing with the varsity kids at City Park. And I think the culture that our juniors have of including everyone and having fun as a team, that is huge, which means our 7th graders, like we've talked about, when they got brought up to practice, because we did practice 12, so we had 7th graders that would kind of rotate in and out, and every time they were up at practice, they were 100% included. It was a great atmosphere for them, a great culture, and I think that's what's really going to move them up. Yes, our top level kids did win more matches, but I think what's even better for our program is how they lead the team through their actions, through their words, and their inclusivity for all of our tennis players.
And you had 26 boys that came out for tennis this year, which was the highest in your 19 years.
So we had 26, and we were graduating 1, and I could foresee 5, 6, 7 new 7th graders coming out next year too. So we might be up by 30 boys 7 through 12, which would be absolutely amazing. Which if we get to that 30 mark, I mean, we're going to have to. We use City Park a lot already. A lot of times we don't use it for practice because we'll just split it up. But if you're at 30, I mean, we're going to have to put 10 of them down at City Park and 10 of them at the Parks and Rec courts and 10 of them at the varsity courts, just so that way they have enough court space to play. So I mean, that is a great problem to have. I'll take that problem any day.
And the off-season workouts. So I think a lot of these guys, you probably will see them do a lot of stuff here in the off-season.
Yep, a lot of them are going into the weight room in the off-season is one thing, and then I do Jamestown on Sunday evenings once the snow flies. Right now, I said, hey, they go, hey, when are we starting the Jamestown stuff? And I go, it's still 60 degrees outside and the wind's not blowing. Go outside and play. Keep doing that. But when the snow flies, we'll start going to Jamestown. Courts Plus has what's called MXP, which kids can join. There's a Jamestown Doubles League that a lot of kids are joining. There's tournaments throughout the winter. There's about 2 or 3 of them. Which one of them was just this last weekend, which a lot of our people, a lot of our boys participated in Fargo. So I mean, they're enjoying it and they're continuing to get better. A couple of them I know are getting some tennis lessons in Fargo as well, once a week or once every other week. So I mean, we have kids who really enjoy it, want to get better, want to see if they can make varsity, want to see if they can stay qualified, want to see if we can get our team there. Because I've been coaching, like I've said before, I've been coaching 19 years for the boys.
Right.
We haven't stayed qualified.
Right.
So these kids, if they keep working, I mean, these kids could be the ones who get Valley City back into the state tournament for boys tennis.
Miles Taylor, the lone senior, just the way that you had said, he kind of got thrown into the top spot as a junior and then this year as a senior. But what did he mean to the program and how he improved in his years with Valley City Tennis?
Well, and I think he could have been one that could have just easily said, I'm done with tennis because, I mean, he had a couple that decided not to come back out for tennis that were kind of his friend group. So all of them graduated and then 2 didn't come out. So it could have been easy for him just to be like, I'm done. But you know what? He hits the ball so well. And he led by his play. He wasn't the vocal rah-rah leader. I mean, we have Kellen Westman does enough of the vocal rah-rah. So he was our vocal leader. But Miles was always, he hit the ball very well. He put the ball away. So when he was on the court, you were getting high-level tennis. So, I mean, everybody would say Miles is by far our best player this year. And that's how he led, which means he made practices more intense because people wanted to beat. When they were against Miles in practice in some games, they wanted to beat Miles. So losing his talent and his quiet leadership, let's say quiet leadership, it's going to sting, but I know our guys are ready to be like, nope, it's our turn to be the guy. It's our turn to be numbers 1 through 6, and I think we're going to have another fun season next year.
He was the leader by example.
Yes, 100%.
And so he will be missed. Well, now you got 6 months to. I know you don't rest during the winter months because you're busy traveling around, following the kids and their sports, and being a referee. But now you got some time before you get back out on the tennis court for the spring season with the girls, probably March or April.
Well, we hope so. I don't know. I've been looking at the Farmer's Almanac in the long term, and I hope April 1st, let's have it no snow on the tennis courts and 50 degrees. If that's happened, that's whatever happens the rest of the winter, it's okay. But April 1st, let's have no snow on the courts and 50 degrees, and I'll be very happy.
That's the deadline, April 1st. You heard it right here on Coach's Corner first. No snow in Valley City on April 1st. Well, Matt, again, wonderful season here with Highlander boys tennis. Just steps, and the ladder is getting a little bit higher for these young men. And
they're all embracing it too. They all want to make that next level, which makes coaching a lot of fun. When you have kids who want to put in the time and effort and want to get better. So I'm really excited for the years to come here.
Appreciate it, and of course, your assistant coaches. You can't do it without the help of the people that come around you that help you out.
Well, and I was at the Kiwanis yesterday and talking about Highlander tennis, and I said we got Eric and Susan Kringley who are. They are in the North Dakota Tennis Hall of Fame, and I said, you know what, good leaders make sure that they have even smarter people as their assistants, and that's exactly what I did. Is I have two that are a lot better than I am that are assisting. So we couldn't do it without those two, and with the boys or with the girls, we got the Aberleys that are great role models for the girls. Work very hard, are very positive with the girls. So I'm just blessed to be able to coach here and be able to have such fantastic coaching staff.
All right, well, Matt, we look forward to this spring, and thanks again.
Thank you.
You bet. Coach Matt Nielsen from Valley City Highlander Tennis, back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highliner Activity Network. And volleyball, they are back home tonight. And back starting a little bit of a homestand, a handful of matches here at the Highliner Activity Center over the next couple of weeks for the Highliner volleyball team. And we're joined this morning by Coach Cynthia Claybo and Senior Ava Hughesby. Ladies, how you doing this morning?
Good.
Ready to go? Ready to get back home and be in a home match? Ava's a senior. Mm-hmm. You got a handful of home games, home matches left here as a senior. What is that? What kind of mindset are you getting into now as you wrap up your Highliner home career?
I'm just trying to make the last 2 games count, especially here. It's fun playing in front of your home crowd and people you go to school with every day and feel them cheering for you. So I don't know.
As one of the 3 seniors, did you kind of think this year coming in that you were going to be kind of needing to take a leadership role and you, along with Bailey and Jovi, be kind of those leaders on the court?
Yeah, I've definitely grown up with seniors on the team, and they've been a huge part of it and helping us and leading and being role models and someone you can go to. So I knew that was something I was going to have to take on, and I think it's gone good so far this season, just at practice or at games or anywhere, even outside of volleyball.
As you get, you're looking back now, as you get ready here for the home stretch, what kind of things, what goals you have set for this team as you get this last month of the year?
I really, really want to make it at least EDC. I've never been on a team that can do that, and I know we can do it because we can compete with all these teams. We've talked about it all year, and I know we can. So that's my big goal. Obviously farther, but I think if we can get there, then we are good. But also just enjoy the last games and play hard.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
Just let the chips fall where they may. Well, Cynthia, when you talk about your seniors, and we'll get to the on-court stuff here in a minute, but you kind of have been blessed having not only the 3 seniors, but a lot of veterans on this team that really have probably helped you coming in as a first-year varsity coach, though you've been with the program a long time. But how has that helped you as a coach with the leadership of some of these young ladies?
Oh, it's great. I mean, sometimes, if I'm getting stuff ready before practice and I just kind of go like this and they just take over. They do the warm-up and I'm like, okay, you guys are old enough to know what to do, and they just take over, and they really just give knowledge to the younger kids too, and just help out in all aspects of it. So it's really nice to have them around.
It seems like with this group, you and I kind of texted back and forth about this. Beyond the stats, this group really very hardworking team, aren't they?
Yes, for sure. And they just want to do their best every single time they get on the court. Yeah. So sometimes you can see if they haven't done their best, they're not mad at the team, just kind of at themselves. And then we've really worked on keeping your head up. Okay, yes, you can be frustrated, but then the next ball is yours, right? So it's just been really fun to watch them grow, not only in the volleyball court, but also I feel mentally this year too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Now the Devils Lake match lost the first set, I think 25-19. Really kind of a weird match all in all. I mean, it was back and forth for the most part. But after that first set, what kinds of things did you tell the ladies getting ready for the second set after that going down 1-0?
Well, they were really running pretty fast shoots out to the outside, so we knew that we had to kind of keep them out of that a little bit, just so that way our blockers can get over there. I mean, that's pretty fast for a middle to get all the way over there. So just kind of try to keep them out of system a little bit. And the refs called it really tight. So it was a good match.
It got it, but you came back, won the next 3. But how big is it to get those wins? I mean, this is a team. One of those ones. We need to win this. We should win this, but you did come back and regroup, get that win. How big was it just to get that win on the road, knowing you've got 4 matches at home coming up?
Oh, great. I mean, getting that one keeps that morale high.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you're like, to come back and try to get there. But we knew we could at least compete, and we should win, as long as we're playing our game. Yeah.
What part of the game do you feel this team still has to tweak here as you head into the next 2-3 weeks? Or is it all of it?
What do you think?
Ava, what do you think? Is there what part of this? Not just you, as a group.
I think we've worked on finishing and starting, and we, depending on the game, either we'll start or we'll finish. And I think we need to put both of them together. And I think we have really good chemistry as a team, working together. We just need to limit our errors and
Yeah.
start and finish a game.
And now you're working with, a couple of setters, though usually I think you're on the court with Bryn, and then I think with the rotation,
Yep.
you're not there when it's Dakota, when Kinley comes in. But just working with the setters, they've been there before, but how they have improved this year working and getting the balls to you and Jovi and Bailey and the hitters in Dakota. How do you feel the setters have been doing?
They're really good at like listening to feedback and stuff. If you tell them something, they're determined to get the ball where you want. And I think that's really, I really appreciate that, because obviously as hitters we should know how to adjust to the ball, but when it's on, it's a lot better. So
You're left-hander too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Are they odd? Not odd, I shouldn't say that. Though they say left-handers are the only ones in their right mind, but that's another story. There's not a lot of left-handers, are there, in volleyball that you see? It seems like it anyway. Or am I just throwing something out there?
Well, I mean, most people are right-handed,
Yeah.
right? So even in 8th grade when I had a left-hander, I'm like, okay, anybody left-handed? Then I'd have to like totally change my mindset of how I teach like an approach even, right? So I think Ava's done an amazing job this year of changing her approach a little bit, because it used to be really, really big, and then it was hard to adjust, and now she's like shortened her approach a little bit to be like short and fast so she can jump higher.
Okay.
So, I mean, what'd you get, 9 kills last match?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
yeah. And so we've also worked with our setters. I know you just asked Ava that, but to not only push it to the outside, right? Like Bailey and Katie had a bunch last or a Tuesday night. We're just trying to like share the ball a little more, so that way we keep those blockers honest.
I think it was really, like last year we would have a lot of balls just go straight to the outside if the setter, not like calling anyone out, but if the setter had to move like a step, they just shoot it right to the outside, and I think they do a really good job of, even if they're off a little bit, they work hard to get there so they have more options. So.
And it's a setter's job too to maybe say, well, this hitter is hot. She
Yeah,
she
for sure.
seems to be on her spots, and so I got to get it there. And or there's a 6'1" person on the other side of the net. Maybe I should try to get it.
Right.
There's a lot of thinking for a setter, isn't there?
For sure. Yeah. Well, and that's also the defense to try to help,
Yeah.
who's there, who's blocking, what's open, who has a better chance of, there's so much communication going
Right.
on, and I think they're doing a really good job. And when we have timeouts or when we talk before a game, we talk about all those things, or even in a timeout, we're like, okay, what's open? And then everybody else does it, not necessarily us coaches. So it's nice
Right.
that the players are seeing that stuff too.
What do you like better, attacking or blocking?
Definitely attacking.
As a hitter, you had better say that, right?
Yeah, they could both be frustrating, but like blocking is like very frustrating if you're not like getting touched on it, because then it's like you're holding, hitting, making errors, you're holding everyone accountable, but I feel like bad. I feel like I need to like help my defense out if I'm not blocking, and then they just get like killed in the back row. So I trust them that they can get those balls up if
Right.
they're hard, like if they're hitting seams and stuff. So
Yeah, at least getting a hand on it
Yeah.
is helpful for
Right.
them. Yeah.
Slow it down a little bit.
yeah,
But nothing beats a kill block.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Nothing.
I bet not. I bet not. Get that, it drops in. It's like, there you go.
yeah,
Well, you got that.
probably feels better, like getting a block, but I like hitting more. I
And
think.
that can actually get in the head of the opponent too, can't it? If you are
keep getting
consistently in that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're thinking, oh man, Hughesy's on the other side again. Now we got to do something different here. What are we going to do? Well, now Fargo Grove tonight here at the Hack, back at home against the Grovers, and really at this stage of the year, coach, is it just we're worrying about the Highlanders? Let's just do what we got to do. We can adjust what the other team does during the match, but let's worry about what the blue and white is
Yes,
doing.
for sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean,
it-
kind of work on what
Right.
what has been working for us, and
Right.
then if we see, they're hitting this or they're tipping, or you just kind of adjust as you're going. And then if they start hitting line, well, you adjust for that, right? So it's just a constantly shifting game.
And this is a very important stretch for you guys because you still have that shot of getting to the 8th spot and hosting a playing game. That's
Yeah.
still out there. I think I did the math, and my head hurt, but I did the math the other day. It looks like 8, 9, or 10. That's pretty much where you're going to be spotting. But you'd like to get to that 8th spot, wouldn't you, and get that home match?
Yes, for sure.
And as a senior, you'd love to get a chance to get into the EDC
Yes.
here in front of the home fans. So, we'll see. We'll worry about that. That's in November. We still got a lot left to go yet as far as both matches at home next week. But tonight, Fargo Oak Grove coming to town, 4:30 for the C squad, 5:45 for the junior varsity, and then the varsity hits the floor around 7 o'clock. And let's get a W tonight. And senior night tonight, too,
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
Parents' night. So we get to honor Ava and Jovi and Bailey and the parents tonight. So come on out to the Hack. Fill the Hack And let's see if we can't get these young ladies picking up another W here as the season rolls on. Just about 2 weeks left to go in the regular season. Ava Huseby, Cynthia Claybell, coaches, players, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network.
We just go down. All the boys ran a 4K from 7th through 12th grade, and then all the girls ran a 4K after that. And there was about 50 in each race, so it was fun. It was very windy that day, so it set up some good challenges for them. And like I said too, it's better than practice.
Well, we haven't chatted again here in a couple of weeks. EDC up in Grand Forks, good showing for the Highlanders, and again, second year in a row that the Highlanders get the Senior Athlete of the Year in the East Region.
Yeah, the kids ran really well. They liked that course up there. It was almost the perfect day. Temperature-wise, it was overcast. There was hardly no wind, just a little light breeze. And so the majority of the kids either ran their time or better. We had a lot of PRs that day. We had 2 7th grade girls place in the top 20 of the junior high race with a 4th and 8th place. It seems like a long time ago. And that's the first time we've actually had a junior high girl on the podium in a long time.
Okay.
And so they kind of make a big deal of it. You get to go up on the stage and so forth. And then the other kids ran very well. And it was not a surprise to me, but with Greta getting Senior Athlete. She's put in a lot of time. She's won a lot of awards. She was kind of surprised when I said she's run 69 races in her career. And in 35 of those races, she's been in the top 5. So, she's had a very good career. And so now we'll see. But it was a great honor for her, for all of the work she's put into her running career.
And I think she finally broke 21 at that particular meet.
Yes, so she got ice cream. That was a promise set. So we had ice cream afterwards. But yeah, the girls all ran very well, and that sets them up for running at state. Now the confidence that they need to run at state.
And it's this weekend again at Jamestown at the Parkhurst Recreational Area. You know this course well. That's where state usually is. You've run it once or twice this year. I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but is there any of your runners, boys or girls, that this course favors?
Almost all of them.
All of them?
Yeah, they're familiar with it, so they go in with the confidence that they know what the race is like. It's fairly flat, except for one area that gets really challenging in the second to third mile. You go out back a little bit, and then it's the hill. And that gets to be a little challenging when there's 150 runners and you're trying to figure out, you can't take the corner too tight. You don't want to wipe out. It should be dry this year. Last year it was a big challenge because it was so wet. But this year it looks like it's going to be dry. It just depends. The Class B runs before us on Friday, so sometimes the course is ripped up a little bit, but as long as it's dry, I think it'll be okay.
With this team now, and one unique thing I like about cross country is everybody goes to state.
Not really.
Not well. There is some qualifications.
Yes.
Okay.
There is qualifications they've put in place this year. Plus, I've always had a qualification of myself. I don't think state belongs to everybody.
Sure.
I think it's a privilege to run the state. It's an honor. So I've always set up a certain time, and we can take up to 10 runners each team. But I've always set up that guideline for my athletes so that we're not bringing somebody there that doesn't deserve to run at state. You know, it has to. To me, it has to be earned.
Yeah.
And so the state the High School Activity Association has now put a guideline on it, so the qualifying standards that you have to meet. So we have, right now we have 6 boys, and we'll be one of the youngest teams.
Okay.
And with boys it's different because as you get older you get stronger and faster. And so we'll be taking 3 sophomores, 2 8th graders, and 2 7th graders. We have 2 of the 3 7th graders that are going to be running in the boys race. And so, you know, it'll be a good race for them because they'll get the experience. As they get older, they'll start shifting up in the races themselves. They'll do well, but they realize that they're some of the younger athletes that'll toe the line. And then in the girls, we'll take 9 runners, and it varies from 8th grade all the way up to Greta being a senior, Greta and Tricia seniors. But again, what's nice about cross country is you always want to better yourself. Because on Saturday, there'll be 2 winners, just 2. And there will be probably 300 runners in the 2 races.
Okay.
So, you know, you only have the 2 winners, and then you just want to better yourself. And the weather looks good, so it should be a favorable day for us.
And speaking of Trish Fennig, I'll do a little horn tooting here. Tomorrow's Times record. She's our senior feature in our Times record tomorrow. So you can read a little bit more about senior Trish Fennig in the Times record tomorrow morning in tomorrow's edition. But now as we get towards the end of to state, what kind of goals do these girls and boys, this team, set any kind of goals with these 15 that you're going to be taking that they want to accomplish?
Yeah, they actually, you know, everybody'd love to be all-state, but in order to be all-state in cross country, it is one race. It is just one race. It's not what you do the whole year. You could be injured all year and show up at state and be all-state. But their biggest goal, though, is just to better their times, you know. And if it's not bettering your time, just have a more comfortable race, because as you get in shape, it becomes easier for you to run. But all of them will be pushing themselves to set a PR or run their best race. That's all they can do.
Right. Well, is it the top 10, 20 that get all state? What is there a number?
It's the top 20.
It is the top 20 usually. Okay.
And it's unique in a sport, you know, but you know, every other sport you get voted on how you do the whole season.
Right.
And so, you know, it is kind of unique, but that's just the sport. So yeah, it's the top 20 that finish are the all-state.
It puts a lot of emphasis on the state meet.
Absolutely.
There's a lot on the line. You can be an all-stater, and there's a state champion, so there's a lot going here on Saturday.
Right.
And it's afternoon, I believe,
Yeah,
2:45?
The boys start they run the first race at 2 o'clock, and it's at Parkhurst Recreation Area over in Jamestown. And so this is maybe the fourth or fifth time that we've run over there at state. And then the girls will run at 2:45.
Okay. All right. So hopefully we'll have one or two. I'm thinking at least 2, maybe 3 on the podium here. That's my wish.
Yeah, me too. We'll see. And again, I'm always pleased if they're just putting out their best effort, because there are a lot of really great runners in the state of North Dakota.
Yeah, there are, and a lot of young
Yes.
runners as well.
Especially on the girls' side, you'll find that your really strong runners come in as young. They're young, and then they hit maturity, and you don't know what's going to happen after maturity.
Right.
Where the boys, you'll see that they're the juniors, seniors at the top, because they've become stronger, faster, better.
Right.
And so we might have a couple of kids that just really work hard to keep up. But, you know, they deserve the spot. They earn that spot to go to state, even, and I don't really care about their age, what their age is, as long as they've worked hard and they've earned that spot to go to state.
And the future looks bright for Highlander cross country with as much talent as had in those younger grades as well.
Yeah, this year we had, excuse me, we had 16 junior high kids.
Yeah.
So hopefully they all stay out and find some type of passion in running, whether they come out for cross country or they just enjoy the sport themselves.
Well, we'll talk more next week on how things went at the state meet, and good luck. And weather will be nice, so it'll be a perfect day for running.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, Deb, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. Coach Deb Bilkey joining us from the Highlander Cross Country. Back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here at Coach's Corner here on the Highliner Activity Network, and football season is just about in the books as playoffs get started next week. One more regular season game left to go. That's tomorrow night up in Minot. Coach Travis Engen joining us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
How in the heck are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah. Doing great.
Well, we getting ready for Minot North. We'll talk about the Sentinels tomorrow for tomorrow's match here or tomorrow's game in a moment. Dickinson, but that's a pretty good football team that you saw in Dickinson last week.
Yeah, they played well. And so, we got behind a little too early. And, we kind of made a little comeback at the end. We just ran out of time on some stuff. And so, it's part of the season, and it's a grind. We talked about a couple weeks ago about, we don't have a lot of players. And so our guys, we've played 8 games now. And a lot of them play both ways, so they've really played 16 games. And if we were playing the same teams that were, that place 8 games like us with both ways, it's a little different ball game. But, we're playing a lot of teams that are going, one way. And so they're fresh and everything. And it's starting to show. It's starting to be a long season, and we got a tough one with Minot North. They're big. That's really a AAA school going against a B school and everything. So they got bodies. They got numbers. They're big. They're strong. So our guys will have to fight pretty hard this week, and they have all year, right? Yeah. We've knocked off some teams that on paper maybe we shouldn't have, even statistically, but we've done a good job. Our guys are always ready to play, and they step up. Every week we got an injury, right? Every week we've lost a kid or two, and so other guys have stepped up, and the young guys have done a really good job for us.
I think the I don't know the word, the mantra or just the theme of this year's team is next man up. Yeah,
and it's going to be mix and match, right? Yeah. We're on our 3rd string center, our 2nd string left guard. I don't know how many string linebackers,
exactly.
Right? We're mixing and matching. We got to bring some guys that haven't played linebacker down, move them out of different positions. We got guys playing out of position. That's never good.
Right.
But our guys don't care. They're just, okay, this is where you want us. This is what we'll do, and we'll step up.
They bring their lunch pail and their hard helmets and go to work.
Yeah, that's really the theme of our season this year, right? And, I've told that to a lot of young guys. Some of those freshmen and even some sophomores will sit there and go, well, I'm not going to see any playing time really, and then they start going, wait a minute. We got just over 30 guys, 9 through 12, and you deal with some injuries, and you look at it, when one of our guys starts, they start both ways. So he goes down, that's 2 openings.
Yeah.
And so I need to fill that with 2 more players traditionally. And so we got young guys playing. There's no doubt.
And I'm sure you and your staff tell them on the sidelines, hey, watch what this person does, watch what this, because you may be in there doing that.
Right, yeah, exactly. Just because, you're playing the Will linebacker doesn't mean you're not going to play the Sam linebacker, the Mike, or the Viking, or whatever it might be. And so it tells them they got to really pay attention out there. And our guys do a nice job of when they're in, the other guys are going, okay, just do this.
Right.
And they do a nice job.
Looks like the running game, too, has slowly but surely been getting better. Now, again, you lose Caden, but you got Corbin Powell, you got Caleb McLaughlin
that
can
Caleb
step
does a
in.
really nice job. They both do a nice job. They're different backs.
Yep.
Corbin does better in the open field, and Caleb does better between the tackles, so to speak. And so once again, you try to put guys in their strengths, and it just gets a little difficult every once in a while of what to call, what to do, where to put them. And now we're in a situation where, okay, this is where we're going into it, and it's we say it funny, but I'm serious. Is the number 1 rule is nobody gets hurt anymore.
Yeah, we're done with that. I don't want Tabitha. I don't want to see Tabitha.
Yeah, Tabitha's busy enough. So
it looks like with this team too, you're like the 1970s Vikings. Your running backs are good receivers too.
Yeah, yep, and they have to be. That was the whole thing a couple of years ago when we wanted to implement a little different offense. Was my wide receivers had to be running backs, my running backs had to be wide receiver. And that's the whole idea, is to find mismatches, right? Yeah, they put a running back out there. You're going to put a linebacker on them? Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
Or, okay, they're going to bring a corner over. Good.
Yep.
You know, now we got one of their fastest guys, maybe not on our fastest guy. And that's what we try to do, mix and match some players around.
What do you expect out of the Sentinels? What have you seen on film?
Yeah. They're going to run the ball, and then they're going to run the ball, and then they're going to run the ball, and then they're going to give it to their fullback, and he's going to run the ball. And they you know, it's a pretty – what are they good at? They're good at run, bootleg, play action off of that. They run the screen game very well. You know, 70% of their passes are a form of a screen.
Right.
And why? Because their linemen are big, and they can move. Right, so you're going to utilize those guys. So they do a good job with that.
You mentioned that even though they're in first-year high school, still they're a big. That's nothing.
They got the 400 kids at each school, you know, and they're down in AA, which whatever, you know, and it's like I said, that's a AAA school. You know, we're dropping down next year to A, but it's AAA versus B, and it's a numbers game when it comes to football, and so it is what it is.
Yep.
And so we'll take the challenge head on and see what we can do this Friday.
Get a win, regardless of the playoffs. You just want to go in playing well.
Right.
Starting, and it starts tomorrow, really.
Yes, it does. Yeah, you know, and we talked a little bit about playoffs last week, you know, and what woulda, shoulda, couldas. You know, there's 8 scenarios that can happen tomorrow night.
Yeah.
You know, if we win, we get the number 1 seed. And I tell the players the truth, hey, if we win, we get the number 1 seed. If we lose, this all has to happen, you know. And we talk about, you know, the legacy of this senior class. They've been to the playoffs all 3 years. Okay, so, you know, it ain't a big deal. Right. It's trying to host a playoff game, you know, and trying to win the first round and everything else. That's where the legacy's got to start somewhere. And so we talk quite a bit about that with our seniors.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, there will be a lot of different outcomes starting tomorrow night about 9:30. You know, we'll kind of know where we're at for hosting or being on the road.
Well, let's just take care tomorrow night, and we'll worry about the rest later.
Exactly. It'll all clean itself up.
It'll clean out in the wash. Well, again, tomorrow night at Sentinel Stadium in Minot. I think it's up by the airport, if memory serves.
Yes, it is.
So if you want to head up to Minot and cheer on the Highlanders, that'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff against Minot North, and then we'll see what happens if we're home next week or if we have to hit the road. But let's hope we're home for at least one more game.
That would be great.
Great. Coach, appreciate it. Thanks much. Coach Travis Engen joining us. We'll be back, wrap things up here on this edition of Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network.